Hello and welcome to episode 30 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Tonight's episode is titled Stories from the Paranormal Fest Part 1. I am David, this is Robert, Jasmine, and Ian.
Hello.
Hey guys.
What's up?
Alright, so tonight we're going to be hearing some of the stories from the Nightmares of San Antonio Paranormal Fest that was recorded on September 22nd, 2018, which is a little over a month ago.
Like, we always start to slow down around this time, and I'm not sure if it's because of the holiday. Do you remember that date? Like, we were on a 6-month hiatus.
Yeah.
That was from October 31st until April 6th.
Yeah.
Wow.
2016. Because I had to look that up the other day for a friend of mine.
Man, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we're doing pretty good timing because it's only been a month.
Yeah, I say we're doing good.
Oh, yeah,
but,
for sure.
Oh, it's been since Halloween.
Yeah.
But
And we did things in between, but it just seems like...
Well, because we were during that time we were collecting stories and whatnot. So I mean, even if we weren't putting out episodes, we were at least preparing.
Working.
Yeah.
We're still working, yeah.
well, we finally got to get these stories out, man. Awesome stories, man.
It's an amazing night just all around for
man,
us.
I wish we could do that again. It was so nice, man. The beer was cold. People were friendly.
Yeah.
The stories were great, man.
So we're going to do something a little different tonight. Since we had so many stories, we said, we had to cut it into at least 2 episodes that we know of, and there may be a little bit extra there, but that we're going to have, then we may, I don't know, either do a third one or put them in another podcast somehow, but that's really going to be our good hour right there, pretty much.
It's going to be kind of nice because you get to hear the stories instead of us.
Yeah, maybe we'll be slurring still by the end, but
Hope so.
No sobering thoughts this time, so you guys are on your own.
Oh, but man, yeah, that's still on the back. Hey, that one that you got coming up is going to be nice. So
God, what is it, 2 years now?
yeah, it's been building
You know
up
what?
for 2
It
years.
better be good, because you're going to be waited 2 years for this shit.
I know. Oh, God.
Hello, this is Robert Limon from Rigor Mortis Paranormal Podcast. Do you ever dream of being rich and famous?
how about being skinny?
We're beautiful.
Well, if you dream of these things, submit your story to rigormortisparanormal.com. We can get you there.
You'll have 8 whole listeners at least.
That number is 210-901-8666. And remember, folks, that's a 3-minute call. So if your call goes over 3 minutes, please call back and give us a second call to finish your story. We will edit that bad boy and make it sound like a famous person.
And if you sound like Screech and don't want to leave a call, you can always email us at rigormortisparanormal@gmail.com, or you can visit our website online at www.rigormortisparanormal.com and click on the Submit a Story button.
Fame and fortune will be coming your way soon.
Cha-ching!
Rigor Mortis Paranormal is not responsible for your financial standings, bankruptcies, foreclosures, plummet in popularity, divorce, impotency, pregnancies, sudden rashes, and possible death. You are guaranteed to be heard by no more than 8 people.
Hey, you know one thing real quick I did want to mention? That there's a baby in the background? Oh, just kidding.
Happy baby, yeah.
No, something really weird happened last night. I just wanted to mention this real quick before we get into the stories, but it was really crazy. I woke up around 2 o'clock, which I do all the time. I'm always waking up in the middle of the night. And anyway, I got up, I started to read, and I read for 2 hours. It was about 4 o'clock, I started going back to sleep, and I started dozing off, and I start to dream, and I hear a baby crying in our backyard.
Oh.
Sounds just like a baby, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm thinking, okay.
Baby coming back? The same baby?
I don't know, it's
Brownfield
weird.
baby,
That's what I
yeah.
thought, because, I started thinking about Brownfield too, and I'm like,
Same
oh wow. It's this all happened before, and it seemed real to me. And then I'm like, well, I was like, whatever, it's a dream. And even in my dream, I'm thinking, that's a dream, whatever. And then in the morning, I wake up, and then my wife is like, hey, did y'all hear that baby crying in the backyard last night? And I'm like, whoa. And then my daughter's like, yes, I heard that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, so was this a dream then? I was like, I guess I didn't dream this. It actually happened. I think I was just so tired. I was just going back to sleep at 4 because they said it was around 4 o'clock. So
Yeah.
I think I was just dozing off, and I heard the baby
So you really
crying.
did leave a baby out there.
You know what? Well, and
You go check.
you know what? I didn't at 4 in the morning because I didn't know. I thought I was dreaming. But
That's they all do, I
Pants
think.
back on and my slippers. I ain't going out there.
no, they were wide awake. They were wide awake, and they heard the baby crying. And I know what a cat sounds like, and that's the first thing I always think too. Oh, maybe a cat, but it sounds just like a baby crying, like a newborn. And they heard the exact same thing. And this morning, finally, I was like, man, poor baby, man. If there were a baby out there, it's not may not be alive anymore because it was cold.
Eagle came.
It was like 50 degrees and it was raining like bad. So
I better go check 3 days later.
I did this morning. We're getting ready to take the kids to
Wait,
school, and I was like,
you're
I'm gonna go back there and go look. And I didn't find anything. It may have, I don't know, probably crawled away by that time.
I didn't hear it, and neither did my other sister.
Right. But 3 out of the 5 of us heard it. So
Well, because I wasn't even in that room
Probably had your
anyways.
headset on.
yeah.
No.
No, he wasn't in the room. It was actually in the back, towards the back of the house, and that's
Yeah.
where the rest of us are at.
I sleep towards
all
the
3 of
front,
us said the same thing. It was like we heard it right by the window. So I was
Yeah,
like,
That's weird.
it was
man.
crazy.
That's kind of scary. It is too, especially like in weather like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and believe me, there's probably people in Buffalo, New York. What are you talking about? 50 degrees?
I know.
It's like minus 50 over here, fat ass.
Well, I don't play that game either. If I hear here, I've been trying to come. I'll try to get brave and all the lights are out over here, and I don't know. It's okay. Anyway, so I'm trying to come over here, and it's super dark, and I get scared, so I always end up running back. And for some reason, the restroom door is always open in the hallway
Oh,
to
that's
air out
man.
the stench of the ceiling.
yeah,
It scared me because it's like a dark hallway, and I feel like something's just gonna grab me from in there. Anyway, so I was running the last time.
the lock on the
Bam!
stairs.
My shoulder right into the corner.
Man, so you ran that hard or like?
The chicken.
That's crazy because mom was the same thing. Like yesterday, she's telling me, "Hey, I'm waiting for you outside." I'm like, "What the shit? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, for real?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, Why? I mean, go inside." She's like, "No, the cucuy." And I was like, "Oh my god." but,
I don't know why. I mean, it's just. I think it's just more like just creepy because it's dark in here because everything that's happened in here, nothing.
Well, yeah, y'all have had quite a few experiences here,
Yeah,
though,
but
right?
nothing
Yeah, nothing bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know why I'm scared. I think I'm just scared because it's dark.
Well, I mean, still, just if anything happens, I mean, I'd be scared anyway. It's like today, I had to come back in to get something or whatever. I think everybody left the house this morning.
you clicked
After we
on
were talking
the
about all the baby crying, I was like, so there I am running to get my phone or something. I guess I left it in or something like that. And I'm like, just like, I started thinking and I was like, why am I acting like this? But anyway.
Well, no, I was gonna stay home today originally too,
Oh, that's
and then Nina, my sister, comes in and tells you the story, and I'm just like, well, I'm wide awake
Time to
now.
go.
I'm out.
But that is a trip with the baby, man. That would absolutely freak me out. Too,
It's so
man.
weird, man. I just, it's because we don't have, I mean, we never really have anything happen at that house. I mean, it's.
Did you get excited a little?
I kind of did, I guess. But it's weird because I started to.
Yes,
I guess
crying
I was like,
baby.
yeah, I know. I was like, it's
That
back.
poor baby, right?
It's back. I haven't heard that baby since I was 10.
I think of you all the time.
Well, without further ado, man, let's start listening to these stories.
Okay, cool.
A little boy dies in front of a house and now haunts the house.
Hi, my name is Lauren Brown. I am from Corpus Christi, Texas. I am here with RMP, and I just wanted to give my story about an experience that I had at our farm in upstate New York. So we lived in this big, beautiful old farmhouse up in Chaumont, New York, which is a very small farming town. And upon moving into the house, we kind of felt things, and I would like to think that my family is sensitive to the paranormal, but we hadn't seen anything, and we didn't really know anything about the house, so it was hard telling what we were feeling or what was going on. But I started noticing I had a bedroom away from the rest of the family, downstairs across from the other side of the house. And I started noticing that pictures in my room would fall down, or they would move or get knocked over. And I really didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was anything malicious. But I did notice that it was happening quite often. So fast forward through a few random events of things falling down or getting knocked over. And I was sick one night, and I was laying in my bed. I fell asleep really early, and I fell asleep with all the lights in my room on. And there was a really big thunderstorm that night, and I remember it just shaking the house and being a pretty bad storm. Well, I had fallen asleep, and I woke up. It was about midnight, and like I said, all of my lights in my room were on. And I was laying on my side, and when I opened my eyes, there was a boy kneeling next to my bed, and just hands under his chin, just looking at me with the biggest, goofiest, brightest smile I've ever seen. And it took me a second, and I did a double take, and then before I could register what was going on, the power went out. So I just kind of played it off in my head as, I'm not sure what's going on, or maybe I'm dreaming, maybe I'm sick, I'm not sure. So I went under my blankets and I went to sleep. Well, fast forward a few weeks later, a gentleman that lived down the road who has been there since the time that our farmhouse was built, back years and years ago, way before our family moved in, he came over and he was talking about how cool it was to see how much the house had changed and everything that was different about it and what he remembered about it. So he started telling us, going through the different rooms and telling us what they were for. Well, he gets to my bedroom and he says, this is the funeral parlor. And right there where your bed is, that's where they had the wakes for the funerals. This is something that we did not know about the house, so it was a little shocking, to say the least. But then he started talking about the family that owned the house originally and how they had a son. His name was Kevin, and he was telling us about Kevin and how Kevin and his friend were in an accident right in front of the house, and that Kevin had died. And he pulled a photo out of his wallet, and I just specifically remember feeling my blood run cold because the boy in the photo was the boy that was kneeling by my bed. And I will never forget his face and what he looked like. And I never felt like he was there to do any harm. I just felt like he wanted to be seen, and I was able to see him. And to me, that was just the coolest experience I've ever had with the paranormal.
A beam of light leads to a shoebox of baby bones.
Hi, my name is Anna Marie. I'm originally from Corpus Christi, and I'm going to give you guys a story that my grandmother passed down to us when we were little kids. Her name was Luz, and so my grandmother was born back in 1913. This happened to her when she was about 24, 25 years old. She would tell us about this story where they moved into a little duplex, and she had just started out, got married, had her first child. And she tells us stories about how she would see a light right around past midnight. She would hear things, she would get up, and she didn't know exactly what she was hearing, but she would hear noises, and it would always draw her to the back porch. When she would look in the back porch, it was like clockwork, where she would see like a beam of light, or she would describe it as fire. And it was a very large backyard. So this would happen to her time and time again. My grandfather never believed her, and he would tell her that she was crazy and imagining things. She would proceed to kind of watch out for the noises and hear things, but she wouldn't hear anything at the time. It would be all of a sudden, right around midnight, all of a sudden she'd hear something. She'd go to the back door, and like clockwork, she'd see a beam of light. Finally, after about 2 or 3 months, she decided to go outside in the middle of the night to go see where this beam of light was coming from. Little by little, she decided to start digging where she would see this light. It took her about 9 months, she says, when she finally came upon and dug up a box. And it was a shoebox. And this shoebox basically contained what seemed to be skeletal bones of a baby. So she called the neighbors, and she was a young girl. She was like 24, 25 years old. And pretty much what she ended up finding was the remains of a baby that had been buried. But being that it was right around the 9-month mark when she found this box, right after she found this box, the sounds went away, the noises went away, that beam of light or fire just went away. And so she would always tell us that the baby, probably the spirit of the baby, was calling upon her because she had just had a baby, and maybe that the baby wanted to be found. So, needless to say, my grandfather, they went ahead and made the arrangements, and she tells us that they ended up giving this baby a proper burial. They turned it over to the city, but they went ahead and they were there, and I guess, they buried the baby the proper way. And after that, she never ever heard any noises, any sounds, but she always said that she felt like something was drawing her to the backyard, and she never knew why. But it was these beams of light that would just come up out of the ground, and she was the only one that would see them. And nobody else would see them, nobody else would hear it, and it was just her. So later in life, as she got older, she would say that it was probably because she had just had this baby. So some people, when she would tell the story, some people would get scared. Some of the kids, in our family would get scared. But she would always tell us it wasn't that. It was just the spirit of the baby that was calling upon her. So it kind of depends on how you look at a story. Is it scary? Or is it something that is actually peaceful and the spirit was this baby was looking to be saved? So either which way, the grandkids always got scared. We always got scared. So I try to pass on my grandmother's stories, and she had a lot of stories to tell us, just like the Llorona and things of that nature. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and you kind of see is it, a positive thing or is it a negative thing? I guess it's just kind of how you see it. So that's pretty much the end of the story.
A morgue story.
Hello, my name's Chevel. I am a local mortician, and I'm originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, but moved here to San Antonio, Texas, when I was probably 2 years old or 3 years old. I don't remember. Anyway, I work at a local funeral home. And one day we were in the preparation room, and we have a worker there who usually helps us out in the preparation room. But what happened one day was we were putting somebody out in our chapel, and we needed the door opened, and me and this other girl, a co-worker of mine, were moving a casket away from the prep room, and then we had to move a casket back into the prep room. And we saw our other co-worker come and go into the door. Both of us saw her enter the area and go into the preparation room. But when we got upset at her. We both got upset because we're like, hey, why didn't she hold the door open for us so we can move the casket into the prep room? And we're like, hey, that's pretty rude. Well, so I opened the door to the prep room and I was like, hey, man, you're being rude. And I looked around. She wasn't even there. She wasn't in the prep room. And, I looked at my coworker and I was like, she's not here. Maybe she's in the restroom, which we have a restroom in the prep room. I was like, I guess she might be in the restroom, and the door to the restroom was closed. So she must have had to use the restroom. Well, it ends up, we get into the prep room, and then we hear the entrance door to the area, and this same worker that we were upset with comes into the area, and me and my coworker looked at each other like, what? That was so weird. We thought she was in the prep room. We both saw her go into the prep room, but she did not go into the prep room. So ever since then, we've been saying, she has a doppelganger or something like that. But that's my little weird story. And thank you.
Coming in at number 4. A runaway sees a demon in the backseat of the car.
My name is Christina Dismute, and I'm from Needlewall, Texas. I haven't told this story in a very long time. I call it the Daddies Tale. A long time ago, I used to run away a lot, and where we used was like gravel. There was no street signs, no nothing. It was always dark. So I used to run away a lot, and sometimes I would just walk, sometimes I would just ride my bike. One time I got brave enough, and I took my dad's car. I went joyriding, I came back, and you're talking about maybe an hour into town. So I went joyriding for about 3 hours, and then I come back, and it's about an hour to get back to the house. So it's a complete 4 hours. And I'm listening to my tunes and everything's good. And all of a sudden, I feel something in the car. There's nobody with me. I already done dropped everybody off. And all of a sudden, I just feel like I'm not wanted, like I'm being stared at, but I don't see anything. And I am so scared to look inside the rearview mirror. So I keep on going and everything, and I'm trying to get to the house as fast as I can. I get there, right? My dad's waiting for me, and he's telling me, let me tell you one thing, and I'm not going to tell you again. You steal my car again, I'm telling you, the next time that you come home, you're going to see something in the rearview mirror, and it's not going to be me, baby girl. And he goes, and stop looking out the windows, because one of these days, you're going to see eyes looking back at you. I blew him off. I said, whatever, I'm young, you know, I could do whatever I want to. It's an old beat up car anyways, you know, what are you crying about? So then a couple of weekends went by and everything like that, and a lot of good stuff was happening. They're like, hey, come on over, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I'm like, nah, you know, I got homework, I got this, I got that. So finally I said, you know what, forget it. I'm not gonna listen to the old man, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. So I did, I snuck out. And when I snuck out and everything, again, I took the car, went out, do whatever I go do and everything like that, hang out with my boyfriend, hang out with my friends, do what I want to do. Then I took everybody home, and I had an hour drive. So again, it's a 4-hour drive. So I'm going home and everything. Like I said, there's no lights, it's nothing but gravel. You might see a couple of dogs, maybe a coyote or something like that. And I'm going home. I kid you not, about 45 minutes into the ride, I feel it again. And I'm like sweating. I feel like I'm sweating. So I take off my jacket and everything like that, and I'm kind of cracking my neck because I'm getting nervous. And then I feel right now, I feel like I'm sweating, and this place is crowded, and I'm sweating. I feel my upper lip sweating. And like I said, I never told this story in a very long time. So I'm driving, and then I feel something again. And I feel the car like get stuffy. Feels like again, like I'm not wanted. And I look in the rearview mirror. On the back, oh my God, my hair. On the back seat of me, okay? And you know the old school cars. They're like big old car, you know, big old seats. You know, it's not like how it is right now. You know, it's a big old long seat. And something is sitting in the back of me, and all you can see is the dark shadow, and then you see the two glowing lights. Eyes are glowing back at me, okay? And oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna stutter here. There's two red eyes looking back at me in the rearview mirror, and I could just feel it just staring right at me. And I'm driving, and I'm trying to hold on, you know, because I'm like, again, I'm stuttering, I'm sweating. I feel like I told you so. That's how I feel. I look up again. I'm brave enough to look up again. And I must have been like at least maybe, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. I'm in my 40s right now. So I finally get brave enough and I look up again and I see it. I see the black silhouette. It feels like a man and it feels aggressive. And then I see the black eyes looking at me again in the rearview mirror. I swear to God, I pulled over and I start praying like nobody's business. And I'm like, my dad is right. Oh, my hair is itching so bad because I'm so nervous and scared right now. So I start praying, and I'm praying. And then finally I look up again and it's gone. But you know what I felt? I felt like it was only gone temporarily. Like, you know, like I'm coming back for you, BITCH, you know, I'm coming back for you. So I hurry up, and thank God my dad taught me standard, because I put that thing in first and I took off. I mean, the car was smoking on the way out when I was driving so fast back to the house, and we lived in the country. So I got back home, I put everything, I, you know, did the sign of the cross and everything, and I never took Dad's truck again. Never. And that's why I call it Daddy's Tale, because I believe him now.
Jacob, a spirit of a Ouija board, doesn't like Bob. Hi, my name's Robert Martinez. This is my story regarding a Ouija board and some friends of mine. So this happened when I was me and a group of friends of mine, real close-knit group of friends. We had I don't know exactly, somebody's mom had a Ouija board, and we brought it over one night and we were playing with it. And of course, I've always been the skeptical one, so I was kind of mocking it, kind of like, it's not real, blah, blah, blah. So I sat down with my friend Rachel, and we tried using it and asking it questions to see if it would move or it would answer any of our questions, and it never moved. We tried it for about maybe 20, 30 minutes. Again, this is back, I'm 46, and this happened when we were maybe about 12, 13 years old. Anyway, so I get up and I'm like, oh, it's fake. This doesn't really work. You know, it's not real. Another buddy of mine, Rick, says, well, let me try it. So I move out of the chair. I get up and he sits down in my spot. And him and Rachel put their fingertips on the edge of the little glass and they started asking the questions. And lo and behold, after about the third or fourth question, it started moving. And of course, I'm like, oh, y'all are doing it. Y'all are making it move. And he's like, no, we're not. You know, you could see the pressure on their fingertips was barely touching it. You know, there was nothing on there. So they started asking it questions. And one of the questions it asked was about me. They said, do you like our friend Bob? And it went to the word no. So I, you know, of course, I'm standing there watching this, and I'm like, no, y'all made it say that. And anyway, they started asking it other questions. They finally get around to asking it what your name is. What's your name? And it spelled out the name Jacob, Jacob. They asked, how did you die? And it spelled out crash. We all got kind of serious for a second, and you know, we're like, wow, it's working. So they asked the board again, how old are you? How old were you when you died? It said 7. It went to the number 7. And it said, you know, that were you in a car crash or what kind of crash? And it spelled out the word car. So then we started asking it certain questions. About other things that, you know, about the incident. And it gave us, you know, legitimate answers, even down to the location. Not the exact location, but it gave us the name of the street. After a while, it stopped. It wouldn't answer anymore. We kept asking it questions after questions, and nothing would happen. Finally, I'd say about maybe a good 10 minutes passed, and it started moving again. So my friend Rachel asked it, hey, you're back. And it said yes. I, on the other hand, got a funny vibe about the whole thing at that point. Before, I was kind of like, you know, real skeptical, kind of like, whatever. But when it went to the yes, for some reason, when it landed on the word yes, I felt something change, like kind of in the atmosphere around us, like something just changed. So my friend Rick asked it, where are you? And it spelled out above you. And it wasn't fast. It was, you know, A, B, O, and it stopped. And then, you know, it eventually spelled out above you. And I just felt this eerie feeling inside of me. So I said, right above you? Is it right above you? And it spelled out the word yes. I'm sorry, I didn't ask that. Rick asked that. Right above you. So I went and I got a broomstick. Being the little, you know, necio that I was, I went and got a broomstick. And I started waving it, swinging it on top of Rick's head, just in the wind, in the air. And it spelled the word stop. And we all kind of just freaked out at that point. And it says, Rick says, that's just Bob messing around. And it said, don't like. It spelled out the word don't like. And we all got kind of freaked out at that. We stopped playing. We put the game away. We didn't do anything else. Another friend of mine was writing down all the information it was saying they gave us. Well, we went to the, he went and followed up at the library, the old, where you go look up the old newspapers and stuff, and found out that there was a boy that died on that day that he gave us in a car accident at the intersection of Zarzamora and Poplar Street. So it checked out. And so I'm here to say I'm a believer now in the Ouija board, and yeah, those things are real. And that's my story.
A demon holds my cankles. Was it a dream? Is this a big girl?
Jasmine, story's about a guy.
Hi, so I have a great story. It was back when I was in my childhood home, and we lived off of Vance Jackson and I-10. And this house I grew up in, moved back in, and I was a corner bedroom, and there was always a lot of supernatural stuff happening that I remember. Just little bits in here would come back to me, a couple of stuff that I would actually just remember offhand. There's one part where I remember waking up in the morning and my closet door was open, and for some reason I was compelled to get up and walk over there. And I remember always there was, when I think about it, there was always something like a little creature that came out, and I would walk it through the home, and I would explain to them, like, this is where my mom sleeps, this is where my brother sleeps, this is our living room, this is where we eat, this is our dining room, kitchen. I'd just like go and just give them the whole tour. And there was other instances where I had I've seen apparitions, or I've felt like something touching my hand, and then there'd be nothing there. But the strangest thing that ever happened to me was one night I was sleeping in my bed, and we had a cat, so it would sleep next to me. And I remember the dream. I was in my room, and right next to my bedroom there was a window with Venetian blinds. However, in my dream, the Venetian blinds went all the way down to the floor, and that was the whole window. If you looked out that window, you would see my grandparents' house. They live right next door to us, so I could see the window, their car. But in my dream, when I peered out through the Venetian blinds, it was complete blackness, just dark. And then I heard children laughing. It's like playground children, playing, laughing, kind of stuff. And as I peered out more, it was just such a complete dark. Couldn't feel anything, couldn't hear anything. And all of a sudden, out of just these hands came out from under the blinds down at the bottom by the floor, and they had grabbed my ankles, and I could just feel like I felt it, like, and I didn't even snap out of being asleep, and I could feel like claws coming into my skin, and so of course, in my dream, I'm like trying to kick my legs and trying to get out, but I couldn't move. Like I couldn't even shift my feet. I was just like cemented into the ground. And I was yelling in my dream. I was like I would like, how flimsy Venetian blinds are, but these just would not budge. They were just like steel. And then I was just like trying to claw that as well. Nothing was happening. Finally, I woke up, and I was just like kind of relieved, but then again, a few seconds, that pressure was on my ankles, as if that grip never got off me. And I knew I was awake. And I looked over, and my cat that was sleeping there was just puffed up. You know how cats are, just like their hair rises up, the tail goes all poofy. My cat was sitting there just puffed up, hissing, and he was at the direction of my feet. And so that freaked me out, because I'm like, now I know I'm not, dreaming. So I looked down, and there was nothing there, but it was still gripped. And then finally I just yelled, stop. And it released. And I just sat there. I don't think I went back to bed after that. I just sat up and was just wondering what's going on. My cat calmed down a little bit. And I made sure that he was there all night because I was just frightened. I was probably like about maybe 12 or 13 at the time, and it was just, that was the like, I guess the most physical dream or supernatural thing that happened to me in that room, and it was always in the room. I asked my mom, my brother years ago about this because a family had moved in there, and they have a son, probably about maybe a little bit younger than me, who lives in that corner bedroom. And I've always wanted to go over there and ask them, hey, has your son ever said anything about anything, supernatural happening, or have you noticed anything around the house? But I don't want to scare them either. But yeah, my mom was like, no, we never had anything happen. My brother said, no, I never felt anything or any of that. It's probably just all the horror movies that you watch. It's like, no. Things are happening, and they always happen to me in that house with the touching, or, that little creature, or that night when something was just actually gripping me. And so it was the weirdest thing. And I've always wondered, it's like, well, I wonder if it was just me, or if it was just the house, or if it was that room or whatever. But I never went back over there to ask the guy.
Number 7. Pushed by a spirit at the Alamo.
Okay, so this is a story about my visit to the Alamo. My daughter, who's 23 years old now, at the time was 2.5 years old, and our Sunday event was, go to church, go downtown to Fuddruckers, go to get some meal, and walk to the Alamo Plaza, and they'd give you, go feed the pigeons and walk the Alamo. And that was our routine, and went through the Alamo. It was kind of a slow day, so there wasn't a lot of people in the artillery, the artillery barracks on the left side of the Alamo. And she's walking me hand to hand. She's 2.5 years old. She's kind of waddling to the side next to me. We did have a stroller, but she decided to walk. So she's walking next to me, side to side, and for some reason she startles. She jumps out of, and I'm thinking either she tripped or somebody was with her. But we were completely alone in the barracks, and she was hysterical and very emotional. So we walked outside, and then I crouched down. She's short, but she's crying. She didn't have she had lost her breath, and she's just kind of gasping. And I'm like, Mija, what's wrong, Mija? She's like, somebody pushed me. I said, somebody pushed you? Something? Well, maybe I didn't see somebody that, but there was nobody in the building with us. But she said somebody had pushed her. So that was her whole experience, that she was so afraid. And to this day, I don't know if she's sensitive that way, but she's always been sensitive now. But she's 23 years old. But to this day, she remembers that very vividly. And I've read up on the Alamo, and the people that have experienced sadness, despair, fear for no reason, and that just made sense to me after that event. So,
coming in at number 8.
A young man has a frightening experience. His father leaves him alone.
Once upon a time.
Well, I guess not.
Once upon a time, my dad left me when I was by myself. I was watching TV in my room, and all of a sudden, my doorknob started shaking, and I was telling my dad to stop playing around. Stop playing around, Dad. Stop playing around. And the doorknob stopped, and then it started shaking again. And I told my dad, what's going on? What are you doing? And then it stopped. And then I opened the door to see what was going on, and there was no one there. And I looked all the bedrooms. There was no one there. I looked in the backyard. I was calling my dad everywhere. There was no one there. So I was all freaked out by myself in the house. I didn't know what to do, just go back in my room and watch the movie again. One time, I took my friend to the graveyard, and we were having a couple of beers and having fun and stuff like that. And it was a group of my friends. It was me, my girlfriend, and two of my other friends. And one time, my friend was just staring at a tree, and he was just staring at it for a very long time. And I was just like, dude, are you okay, man? Like, what's wrong? And all of a sudden, his head, like, turned to a side, looked at me all weird, and started acting different. He wasn't acting the same anymore. And we just continued to still drink with him. And we didn't know who we were drinking with, but it wasn't my friend. So if you think about it, we were partying with the dead. And we were just drinking and jamming out to rock and just at the graveyard, just partying with the dead, I guess. And then as soon as we left the graveyard, my friend was like, dude, what happened? Well, I'm on drunk. We supposed to be at the graveyard. What happened? And he has no idea, no clue what happened. Well, me and my girlfriend and all my friends, we knew what happened. Then one time, my girlfriend gave me a call, and she said her friend was acting weird. And I went up to her friend and started talking to her, and she was screaming, "This body's mine, this body's mine." And I was like, oh man. I started praying over her and everything, and it was too intense that he was scratching herself, she was biting herself, ripping her flesh off of her. So I had to call a backup, one of my preachers. She came down over here and started praying over everybody to protect us, just in case we don't get possessed. And then she started praying over her. And then all of a sudden, I had to help her and stuff because I had a lot of knowledge. And then the demon just left her body and she was back to normal again. A lot of crazy stories.
Amazing.
Yeah, some cool stories, man. That was really fun. That was a great night that we had. And of course, these were some of the great stories that we had for our part 1 of Stories from the Paranormal Fest.
That's actually kind of cool, man. This is kind of cool to do. I like this. I think hopefully we can continue maybe next year doing this again.
It'd be neat to do that again. I mean, if we're going to do some other festivals and stuff or whatever, that'd be so cool.
And we learned a lot of lessons from this first one that we could carry over to other events or the same one if we do it again next year, that I think would streamline things, make it easier for us and the people telling the stories to us.
That's true. Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
But also, then it gives us an opportunity to give like just continuous stories of just different people telling them. And this is what it's all about. I mean, this is what we're kind of looking for also, just other people's stories. And that's what I dig so much about that.
It's pretty neat seeing people get excited while they tell us.
Oh, yes, exactly.
I think the last guy was really excited about beer, maybe, but
you know what, though, man? He had a story to tell, and he told it. Hey, he may have been, and I love that story, I'm not gonna lie. And he was genuinely sincere. All of these people were.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes it so cool, is the sincerity and that what they believe they saw, and they're relaying it to us, which is awesome, and we want them to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Look out for our gear. We got a shirt coming out saying, "Is that party with the dead?"
Dude, that dude was awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie.
That's so cool.
If you can make that happen, that's badass, man. Shit.
Be cool.
Or my favorite, Once Upon a Time. I love that, man.
Yeah, sure. It says Once Upon a Time.
But it'd be awesome if we could start with that. Start the episode with that.
Yeah.
Or any story, even. Like,
yeah, that might be our, you know,
Or
like
every
our
story from here on out.
honestly.
Yeah, our parent, well, we're just gonna have to give them some kind of royalties for that. Actually, yeah, we're hoping to get more stories like this on our website, and our telephone number is 210-901-8666. And remember, folks, that's a 3-minute call. We just ask that if you do tell your first part of the story and you run short and it cuts off on you, please call back and tell us it's part 2 of your story, and we'll be happy to edit that bad boy and make it sound right.
And also, if you're not too good with being on the phone, you can actually just email us your story at rigormortisparanormal@gmail.com. or you can visit our website at rigormortisparanormal.com, and there's a little section that says submit a story. You can just type your story out there and send it to us. Again, we got some really generic equipment right now. Rob's computer is
This is about to give out, man.
yeah, we can't walk by the cord because if it unplugs, it's done. The battery's kind of dead.
You reminded me to save, man.
Yeah, we have to keep saving every few seconds, but we'd love to have you guys help us stay alive here with beer and getting better equipment too. If you could do that, man, $1. If you can pledge $1 a month, that'd be awesome.
100 would be better, but
love that.
Just donate us a laptop.
You can visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/rigormortisparanormal. Again, you can even catch us on Instagram now. We're on instagram.com/rigormortisparanormal. Facebook, Twitter, we're there.
iHeartRadio, wherever.
Yeah, if you want to listen to us, we're on everything. Yeah, iHeartRadio.
Oh, really?
Stitcher.
Yeah, we just called it Stitcher. What was the other one? FM radio? Somebody called that? And,
Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah, that's
YouTube.
Now we're just bragging.
Apple. What's the Apple one? I always forget.
Apple too?
What is it called?
The Southside Reporter?
iTunes.
There you go.
I always just call it Apple. I don't know why. I'm pretty bad about
With
that.
the bite in it. Yeah. Also, though, another thing that we're hoping to get off the ground. I know we say this, and then the next episode we just kind of fall off. But really would truly love to get you. Truly. There you go, man. We're talking about Chewy, no, truly, we'd love to get y'all's pictures of your paranormal pictures. If y'all can send us some of those or anything of that nature, that would be awesome. Videos would be awesome.
I'm still waiting to see if we can see footage of that ghost. At the school.
Yes, exactly that one.
That would be amazing to see.
I'm not gonna hold my breath about that, but that'd be hopefully, man. You know what? We can probably bother them and tell them, "Hey, you said you were," but that'd be nice. We have a couple here, and there are a couple of sweet orbs pics that we got, but sweet orbs. Yeah, I thought it was sweet ass, but it's sweet orbs. Sorry. If we can get those going, that would be awesome. We'll put them up on our page, right, Davey?
Oh man, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We gotta throw some pictures up there. Video would be awesome, man. Yeah, definitely.
And here's go ahead.
We're on YouTube too, so I forgot to mention that. But so we got videos. We can even throw them on YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're good with that,
And here's the thing too, right? I think this gets lost on a lot of people, and because we don't really push it enough, is it doesn't have to be purely ghost stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I didn't really start pushing it myself until the Paranormal Fest, but Bigfoot, UFOs, whatever. Anything
cryptozoology, extraterrestrials, mummies. We've been waiting for that one. But
for the stories,
anybody work in a museum?
But like for the stories you send in, or pictures, or footage, or anything like that of that nature, anything that's not normal, anything out there. That's what we want.
So we have a few stories still right now, but we're gonna hold off because we actually want to do the rest of the stories I got from the Paranormal Fest.
And they're good, man.
And they are good. So we're gonna have a part 2 to this. So our next episode is gonna be part 2 of these. And again, I think if we have any extra, we haven't decided how we're gonna do it yet, but we'll figure it out. What we're gonna do because we got so many stories that night. Anyway, thanks for listening tonight. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you, those of you who told your stories to us and allowing us to share that with everybody.
Awesome. Very much so. Thanks a lot, guys, and good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.